Vortex at Carowinds is a small but notable Balger-Mabiard stand-up coaster. Not only was it one of B&M's first stand-ups, but it is the oldest one that still operates as a stand-up. This ride gets a lot of hate, but what if I told you this is actually a solid ride? Let me explain why in this review. Balger and Mabiard got their start at Giovanola manufacturing coasters for Intamin, including a few stand-ups. So when the duo formed their own company, it's no surprise their first few coasters were all stand-ups as well. First was Iron Wolf at Six Flags Great America in 1990. Second was Vortex at California's Great America back in 1991. As an aside, the park was just called Great America back then. But it would be far too confusing not to add the California's part, considering the other park I just talked about was also a Great America. The California Great America was owned by King's Entertainment back in 1991. King's Entertainment was one of the earliest adopters of stand-up coasters, adding versions from Togo at Kings Island, King's Dominion, and Canada's Wonderland in the 1980s. The chain's last park without a stand-up in North America was Carowinds, so unsurprisingly, Carowinds received one for the 1992 season. This one would also be a B&M named Vortex, and it would also have similar stats to the California one. This was also the same year that B&M debuted their inverted coaster at Six Flags Great America, and the popularity of this model is one of the initial reasons why sales of the stand-up coasters started to decrease. B&M wouldn't build another stand-up coaster until 1996, and the next three they built would all become the tallest and fastest of the genre. And B&M built their last traditional stand-up coaster in 1999. All three of B&M's early stand-ups were some of the company's smallest coasters. Two of them have since been converted to floorless coasters. Iron Wolf, which was later relocated to Six Flags America's Apocalypse, was transformed into Firebird in 2019. Then California's Vortex was transformed into Patriot for the 2017 season. This leaves Vortex as the oldest B&M stand-up still in operation as a stand-up coaster. I know some would like to see the Carowinds Vortex transformed into a floorless coaster like the California one, but I'm opposed to that. I may be in the minority, but I genuinely enjoy B&M stand-ups. Call me crazy, but I've developed a method to ride these coasters without pain. I have a video on this technique, but here's a short recap. You want the top of the over-the-shoulder restraint jammed into the top of your shoulders. So you sort of want to slouch until the restraints lock. Once they lock, stand up straight. The restraint will be firmly pressed against your shoulder. This may be a deal breaker for some, but this allows you to avoid two types of pain that are far worse for me. One, the bike seat will be a few inches below your groin. This is especially important for us guys. If the bike seat is too high, it will hit your groin in every transition, and the high G moments will jam that seat even further into your you-know-where. Ouch. 2. Your ears will clear the top of the harness. This will lessen the chance of headbanging. This unfortunately is possible again in the stand-ups because of how close the over-the-shoulder restraints get to your ears. But if the restraint is against your shoulders, your ears should be over the top of it. Now there is one other type of discomfort you need to prepare yourself for. The positive forces. On most coasters when you experience positive Gs, it feels like you're being shoved further into your seat. Most people don't find any discomfort in this. But on a stand-up coaster, the ride tries to push you through the floor, and all that weight is transferred to your legs. I love the brutality of this sensation. It makes my legs feel like jelly, like a good workout. The only way to avoid this pain is to sit down, which you should not do. It's not only against the policy of the parks with these stand-up coasters, but it will cause you even more pain. That little bike seat was not designed to comfortably support you during positive Gs, so that'll dig into you on those elements. You also will be further down the harness and much more likely to get headbanging. I'm guessing most people do not use these techniques to ride stand-ups comfortably because Vortex typically is one of the shortest lines of the coasters at Carowinds. Usually it's been a station wait for me. However, when this coaster does have a line, it moves very slowly. Like most B&M stand-ups, Vortex suffers from slow dispatches. Not only are the trains awkward to enter and exit, you need to squeeze down each row and then hop into and out of your seat, but each harness needs to be individually adjusted before being locked. If someone accidentally locks their harness at the wrong height, the operator at the control panel needs to unlock that row, and the platform attendant needs to recheck it. This is also paired with the fact that these are some of the smallest B&M trains. They seat the usual 4 across, but you only have 6 rows, so each train seats just 24 riders. Carowinds does typically run 2 trains, but that second train is usually parked in the brake run for a few minutes in between runs. As for which row I like best, I recommend the front. It's usually just an extra train wait because of the cramped station, and you get that unobstructed view plus a smoother ride experience, so I'd go for it. The back rows have a little more of a rattle to them. Once dispatched, you head up the 90-foot or 27-meter tall lift hill. At the top, you twist 180 degrees downwards. It's a pretty forgettable drop, but it allows the coaster to reach its max speed of 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers per hour. You then glide through a forceful vertical loop. This is where you're treated to your first dose of positive G's. I love how the forces push you towards the outside of the loop as you fully invert. It is a fun sensation. You then twist over the lift hill. This element doesn't offer any airtime nor laterals. It just serves as a transition to get you to the back half of the ride. You then enter a fantastic upwards helix. You get very strong and sustained positives as you spiral upwards. This will start to make everyone's legs feel numb. Again, I know that's not for everyone, but for me that's a positive. You then drop downwards into the second and final inversion, a corkscrew. It's not as snappy as a B&M invert corkscrew, but it does have solid whip to it as it throws you sideways. This element is the one that is most likely to cause headbanging, particularly towards the back rows, so brace yourself if you didn't get that harness down low. Vortex then navigates a figure 8 finale. The initial race turn is pretty weak, but the final low turn piles on the positives one last time. It's a good way to end the ride. You then jump into the final brake run, ending this 2,040 foot or 620 meter long coaster. And you may be on that brake run for a while, so feel free to now sit on the bike seat to give your legs a rest. So what would I rate Vortex? I would give this stand-up a 6 out of 10. This is a solid ride. The method I use grants me a comfortable experience. This allows me to appreciate the power of the inversions and turns. This isn't the most ambitious layout out there, especially compared to B&M's newer designs, but stand-up coasters are so rare nowadays that I like the unique experience they bring to a park lineup. Do I personally wish Vortex gets converted to a floorless coaster? No. Do I think it's smart for the park to convert it to a floorless coaster? Yes. I know most people aren't going to get the harness set like me. And even if they do, they may find those positive forces too much in their legs. I cannot deny this ride would have both higher throughput and popularity with a train change. So we'll see what happens with this coaster. I think it still looks pretty good with its red paint scheme and has a nice location adjacent to one of the front midways. So those are my thoughts on Vortex at Carowinds. What are your thoughts on the oldest remaining B&M stand-up? Do you enjoy this coaster like me? Or would you prefer to see it changed to a floorless? Or removed altogether? Let me know your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.